So I would say like probably week 4, we can probably start doing the CCS prediction.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we'll know we should know by then. And then honestly, at that point, we can probably like say like, we're going to revisit these WCAL picks based on what we've seen.
I'm not changing it. GSF
Awesome.
Weekly, baby. This is long. This is a long segment, but I don't know. Do I even need to edit this, Coach? What do you think?
No. Let the people hear it. Let the people hear it. Let the people hear it.
Let the people hear what we have to say. All right.
But I will say, and I'll leave it at this, like, expect a big announcement from me probably in the next couple weeks.
Oh, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'm excited.
GetSportsFocus is brought to you by Summit Partners, leaders in growth equity investing. Ike's Love and Sandwiches, championship level sandwiches every single time. Weightsandbars.com, build your home gym and shop locally from the Bay Area's best fitness equipment experts. And by South Bay Construction, a reputation built on trust.
Come on back. We got Coach Andrew in the house. Hey, this is the most highly anticipated GSF Weekly of this season because it's the first one, and everybody's been asking me, like, when are you guys going to get on and talk about the upcoming season? So here we are, Coach. It is hot.
We are.
I'm a little sweaty. Running around. By the way, last night when I called you, that was by mistake.
Oh, it's okay. I got you something.
I misdialed. Oh, hey, I'm going to need that soon. Next time I see you. We got to go to Ike's, grab some lunch.
Yes, please.
Anyways, yesterday, so when I called you, that was a mistake. But the reason why that happens is because I found a cat. I found a little kitten about this big. Parking lot where Manalo was practicing soccer, where they had the soccer practice. It's in the bathroom right now. I don't know if you guys can hear the meows, but I gotta take
the cat.
I gotta take it to the shelter later. So I don't know what to do with it because I think maybe it belongs to somebody. Anyways, I don't know.
Good Samaritan. Good Samaritan.
We do have a cat.
You do have a cat.
Over the spring, and she is now almost 6 months.
Oh, okay.
Her documents. Anyways, I'm pretty sure you guys don't want to hear that, but we'll put that in there, just to put it in there. So Coach, I like your shirt.
Thanks. Yeah, we brought one back. We brought one back for the Bay.
Who's we?
The Bay Area Panthers.
The Bay Area Panthers. For those of you who don't know, Coach Andrew is the strength and conditioning coach for the Bay Area Panthers. They are an indoor football league, right?
IFL.
And unfortunately, I was only able to go to one game because of my busy schedule. But they
was a good one you went to.
Yes, exactly. They did really well, and they finished and got the job done. Congratulations, Coach Andrew. You are now a world champion.
Thanks. It's it took a while for it to settle. It was really surreal. I think when we won the Western Conference, that was like, okay, we knew from the beginning this team was probably going to do something special. I mean, this is a team this is a franchise that went 1-15 last year. They won their first game and then dropped 15 straight. So to turn it around in a year, the coaching staff all changed. It was just a whole bunch of new people that were doing this, and to be able to work together, try to make sure like everyone like knew what the common goal was. It worked out really, really well. I would say it's long. It is a professional sports is long seasons, especially when you make a deep run. This was if you include camp and all that, I think the national championship was week 24.
Wow.
Yeah, it was long. And it's definitely something like you got to be in the best shape of your life. Even as a coach, you got to be in the best shape of your life to kind of, make it through like those long days. And then we were battling the weather along with everyone else. And then you have like your outside stuff that you're doing too. But it was towards the end is like, you become very, very crucial, the strength conditioning and the athletic trainers, you become very, very important. Once you find out you made the playoffs, it becomes very important because you got to keep these guys healthy. And, I'll sound like a broken record saying this, but it's like you don't prepare for the season, you prepare to go the distance. Like that's how you got to train. And these guys trained, try to keep them going throughout the whole thing. And then that atmosphere at the national championship, that stadium is cool. It's really cool. It's where the Silver Knights play, which is the minor league team for the Vegas Golden Knights. See, I was like, oh, I see what you guys did there. That's pretty funny. Silver and gold, your minor league silver. And I was like, I get it. But it's a brand new facility. I think they said it's 3 years old.
Wow. It looked great.
It was really cool. Beast Mode was there. It was cool to talk to him for a little bit. He's a really, really cool guy. But then as soon as we saw that last interception and where it sealed it, and then you just wait for that the last 10 seconds it ticked, we just kind of already knew. I had to pull the coolers from the back table because they were getting ready to dump them, and they just and then you see the confetti fall. They throw these shirts at you. Then you get to hoist up that trophy. You get to take pictures with the trophy, and then champagne showers all in the locker room.
Nice.
So
No,
very,
that's
very
awesome,
cool experience.
That's
I got a ring now too, so I get to share with you.
Oh man, that's awesome. So what did you learn this season? I mean, this was your first year working with an organization like that. So what was the main thing that you learned?
The best ability is availability. That is that is key. You can tell who's coming into the season, ready to play. And then you also, throughout the season, you can see who is continuing to take care of their body, as the season's going. The guys we had scheduled days, where we work out. And then they always have to make sure, they go to treatment. And then before practices, you're putting guys through their paces. And it's very, every player is very unique. There's some things that you can do across the board with everybody. But it's very, very unique to every player. So, just because, I'm doing something with this one player doesn't mean that I'm going to do that exact thing with another player, and I think that's something that a lot of players don't really take the emphasis on, is that when you lift in season and when you maintain, that's how you last. You have to maintain everything that you do. You're gonna lose weight, you're gonna be tired, you will probably play the entire season at best maybe about 80%. And that's what we kind of tried to make sure all the guys stayed at, is around that 80-85% threshold, because that will be a lot more than most players, and they're able to go 80-85% 4 quarters. And it's a fast-paced game. If anybody's ever watched indoor team or indoor play, the scores are high, everything's fast, and these guys are hitting hard. This is still professional. These guys could play at the next level. They hit just as hard. But if you're not taking care of yourself during the season, like it's the next man up mentality. And that's kind of what we saw a lot. Like players go down, it's just the next guy. And it's on our staff, the strength conditioning and the athletic training, to try to get that player back on. But even that, like, you miss a day, like you miss reps, like, you may or may not have lost your spot. So, like I said, the best ability is availability. A lot of players should understand that concept. So take care of your body, work with people. Like, if you have a strength coach on the side, or if you have a strength coach at your school, make sure they're doing the right exercises for you. Make sure you're still lifting compound, because that actually helps out a ton. And then know like what you're like. I had to change a lot of the ways that I thought about, doing in season, because it's a long week. Like, it's the same, like what these kids go through in high school. Preparation is the same in, you just get maybe one more day than high school in the pro level. And even in college, you just get one more day of practice. But you have to know, like, after the game, you should lift. Like, you got to do like some kind of re-entry workout to like get you back for the week. And then you lift compound like maybe 1 to 2 days. And then you do like a quick, fast twitch movement day of workouts. And then you just get ready to, then you should be ready to roll. I had to learn that pretty quick. So like, I did a lot of different, had to do a lot of studying, learning as I went. But I saw that doing a re-entry day on day one was probably one of the most beneficial things that, I discovered. And so I'm going to try and implement that with, the high school season this year, with the players that still train here, is do the re-entry day on day one. And then, they have a recovery day the day after. Recovery is key. I can't emphasize that enough. Recovery is key. If you are able to get like a massage gun, or you have a tub at home, do those things. If you are lucky enough to have like a Normatec where you can do like the compression leg sleeves, like do those things. Like ask your school if you have it. You'll figure out something. Contrast baths are really great. Like go hot to cold. Fantastic things. Like, just, there's a lot of resources available to these, to all athletes of all levels. So utilize them, and you will have a long season, and you'll be able to play the whole year. So that's what I learned a lot about this year. A lot of recovery, a lot of rehabilitation. And that's what a lot of people also don't understand about like strength conditioning. It's not just lifting weights. Like you work with doctors, you have to work with the doctors, you have to work with the athletic trainer, because when you're trying to return them to the field, you're the person that has to put them through those like paces. Like you have to go through it with them. And that's it's something I kind of knew that was going to happen. I just didn't know like the frequency. It was like week on week, you're working with somebody a lot. And then you also have those players that want to do some stuff like before practice gets going, just so that they're ready to go. So very, very unique experience. I'm looking forward to, doing it again.
Nice. Well, you know who I ran into the other day? Coach Papin. Santa Teresa. He was also involved with the Bay Area Panthers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talk about his involvement. I know, like, you guys work together because he is what does he do for the team?
He's one of our commentators and announcers. So and it's really cool to like, when we watch it back and we hear like, some of the away games I didn't go to. So watching it and then listening to him talk, man, he's super intelligent. He's the way he talks about it, and he understands the indoor game. I mean, he played in the AFL. So
Right.
He understands like how the game.
He's a Bay Area legend, I told him.
Yeah, San Jose SaberCats. I think he won a couple with them, I believe.
Yes, he did. Yeah. He had a really good career. So I caught up with Coach Papin last week. The feature is out already, so it's been getting views. But I did a Q&A uncut interview with Coach. And I'm going to take this opportunity to introduce that segment. So here you go. Enjoy this GSF Uncut segment with Coach Papin of Santa Teresa.
GetSportsFocus is brought to you by Summit Partners, leaders in growth equity investing. Ike's Love and Sandwiches, championship level sandwiches every single time. Weightsandbars.com, build your home gym and shop locally from the Bay Area's best fitness equipment experts. And by South Bay Construction, a reputation built on trust.
Steve Papin, head varsity football coach, Santa Teresa High School.
Perfect. So, Coach, man, I read about you. you're a San Jose legend, man. I mean, talk about the early days of your career. I know you went to school locally, so let's start with that.
Came from Colorado in '87, went to Piedmont Hills for 3 years, 3-year varsity starter with Coach Cornett and the Pirates. Never made the playoffs, and then after that, went West Valley with Coach Hancock for 2 years. Had a couple of offers back then. We had Prop 48, Washington, USC, Oregon, Georgia. I had a couple Penn State offers, but didn't get grades. That's why I tell the kids to stay in school. 2 years after junior college, went to University of Arkansas, full ride scholarship. Got down there. South was a little different. Came back home, went to another year of school, and then finished my career for 2 years at Portland State, and then 5 years with San Jose SaberCats.
Nice. And I know there's a huge difference between arena football and NFL, but then there's a lot of similarities. Nowadays, there's so many opportunities for college players to go whichever way. Now, I mean, there's even the XFL now. What are your thoughts on that? And what do you think about football and where it's at?
Well, I think you got so many kids that play this game and only a select few, and that's what's hard telling these parents, only 1% go to the NFL. Only like 3% go to college. So being able to have these different avenues, you got to get in where you fit in. When I played with the SaberCats, I had great opportunities to go play I had a couple of workouts with the Niners, and I just thought arena football was my niche. It was where I got off. It was where I enjoyed. I was a big fish in a small pond, which I enjoyed instead of being a small fish in a big pond with NFL. So when you're looking at XFL, CFL, all these other leagues, it's great if kids want to continue to play. I mean, our kids just celebrated a few days ago with the Bay Area Panthers, the IFL football. So there's so many different ways, indoors, outdoors, that give these kids an opportunity to play after high school and college.
And what is your role with the Bay Area Panthers right now?
This is my first year with them. Congrats to them, 2023 IFL champs. I was TV radio. I do their color commentary along with my good buddy Dave Lewis, who does the play-by-play.
Nice. And so going back to high school football, what do you think of where football is at right now in California as far as high school?
I think it's the have and the have-nots. I love the game. I'm always going to be a part of the game, but I think if you look at Southern California, you got the Trinity League, the big dogs, St. John Bosco, Mater Dei. Centennial's probably the best public school in the state, and they just play. They get after it. You see all these transfers. I'm against the transfers, but I get it. Kids trying to better themselves, and then when you come back to ours, we're the afterthoughts to the West Catholic League. I mean, Sarah, now Reardon, Coach Adir's doing a great job up there. Bellerman's got a new coach. So it's West Catholic, and then it's all of us. And, we really don't complain. We got a plan. If we do. Like we have Midi on our schedule this year. So we try and play up. We try and get these guys the best competition they can get into. I think the state of football is kind of a toss-up. One year you're going to have this. I mean, our numbers are up. We got over 100 kids in our program, but certain places you got no JV teams because there's not enough of frost-off kids. So I think we got to do a better job of promoting it. Outlets like yourself and San Jose Mercury News promoting it and giving these kids an opportunity. And then I think it's administrators and our districts and all that need to make sports, and not just football, but all sports, mean something.
Nice. Your background as far as a high school football coach, goes way back. When did you start coaching high school?
I was actually playing with the SaberCats in 2020, and a good friend of mine, Leo Olmscheid, brought me over to Piedmont. I never thought I was going to coach. I hated practice. I hated going as a player, so I never thought I was going to coach. He brought me over with him in 2000. He moved up to varsity in 2001. I became the JV head coach in 2001, and then when Evergreen opened up, I went over there with Coach Cornett, Coach O, as his OC for about 4 or 5 years, and then got my first job at Gunderson in 2011. 3 years there, had a great time there, great player. Dejan Packer, rest in peace, my guy. And then we went to Independence for, I believe it was 5 years. 1 year, 2019, went to MA, a stint at MA, finished 7-3, was let go, went back to Independence during the COVID year. And then as I was coaching softball, got a call about Santa Teresa job, and been here for this, going on my 3rd year.
Softball?
Yeah.
Coach softball too?
Yeah.
So you're like a coach.
Yeah, I love sports. I love doing it all. I mean, people don't know this, a little tidbit. I got my first scholarship in high school to play basketball. My favorite sport is basketball, so I was a basketball player, but I realized I wasn't Allen Iverson, so I stuck with football.
So I'm sure you've seen what's going on in the off season and all these kids getting in this club teams and traveling all over the country, which is kind of pointless if you really ask me. But what are your thoughts on the off-season stuff, and is there a right way to do it? And you know, some people go overboard, but do you think it helps?
I definitely think it helps, but you know, I don't want to ruffle any feathers. I just speak the truth. I think the problem that we have as high school coaches is you get these kids that go off to 7-on-7 camps, or they go on and do these spring leagues or AAU basketball, and coaches don't coach. Coaches are hype men, and they want to do backflips and wear backpacks. And I'm not bad mouthing anybody. Do what you do, but I think then when they let the kids wear what they want, say what they want, have a overconfident kind of swag. And then when you get with us high school guys, let me speak for me. Come to my team, we try and do it the right way. I make them wear shirts. I make them all be in the same outfit. We try and do it as a team. They're not used to that when they're in their 7-on-7 team. So then they come back here, and now it's a struggle because you're trying to teach them a sport and not just out for the wins. You're trying to teach them how to be men and be in the community. And I think 7-on-7, and you got a whole bunch of superstars and egos, and it's more trash talk and hype and all that. And then when we get them, we got to try and bring them back to reality. Now we become the bad guys.
That's true, man. There's a lot of stuff going on there. But no, when you started coaching, what was your perspective and what was your goal versus now? Like, is it still the same, or how has it changed over the years?
I don't know. I mean, when I first got into it, I never thought I was going to be a coach. I never wanted to do it. Coach O brought me out, and I did it, and then I loved it, and now I'm engulfed with it. It's all I think about 24/7. I think my thing is, and my kids will tell you, they'll give you two things. They'll say, Coach is a 70s baby, and he's a belt baby. We got our butt whooped, and I tell my kids now, the way I turned out. I got 4 kids, 2 of them graduated from college. The other 2 are very successful. I got a beautiful wife. I got a house. And I was raised by my mom who went upside my head. So I'm that kind of a coach. I hold these guys accountable. I make them be responsible. So now with me coaching, I'm trying to not only change a football program, but change young men's lives. So when they become men in society, they can handle it, and they're not always on their phone or the entitled or making excuses. I want to show them that hard work and being accountable does work, and it does pay off.
And you hit it right on there. This season, or let's talk a little bit about last season, though. We can't. Great season. It's not how you start, but it's how you finish. And you guys made it to the biggest stage. Talk about some of the impact players from last year and just how the season went last year.
Well, I think I inherited a gold mine. I mean, Coach Alfano had been here for years, and, a good friend of mine, Coach Lugo out at Mountain View, we always talked about, like, the area schools, and Milpitas has always been the dominant public school. But, Santa Teresa was a school where I was always thinking to myself, that's a school you get good kids, you get good quality kids. Coach Alfano did a great job. And then when I came in, Coach Cook and Coach Palmer had a group that went undefeated on JV for a couple of years, played together, known each other. And then when we took it over, we weren't great. We didn't go 10-0. We didn't go 9-1. We didn't win league, but our guys played together. They bound together. I mean, when you have guys like Josh Reyes, who was, the heart and soul of our team, Mark Carlson, who was defensive player in the league in our year at linebacker spot. Then you go from Noah Gardier, who to me was one of our best football players. It was very underrated. And then we got our quarterback, Jaden, who, was a 7-on-7 guy and can throw the ball a mile and bought into our system. And once he started, he won every game he played in except the state championship game. So I think we just had a good group that believed in themselves and then bought into what us coaches had brought in. And it was more on them buying in and believing that made us go on that successful run after the Live Oak game.
And this season, you have close to 50 guys on the roster. You're a public school and you got 50 guys. That's awesome.
Well, we actually had 56, and as you get into camp, guys start weaning themselves off and, hey, coach, it's not for me and I can't do it. Yeah, we got 56 on varsity this year and about 67, 68 on JV. So the program, we got over 100 kids and they're coming out, and our freshman class is phenomenal. So we should be around for a pretty long time, competing at a high level.
And so what can we expect, Coach, this year?
I'm not going to Lou you. I don't know. I was talking to you earlier, and I honestly think we can be anywhere from 7-3 to 1-9. It's gonna be on these guys and how much work and time they put in. Out of the 50 kids we got 8 underclassmen. We got 2 freshmen. We got 6 sophomores, 2 freshmen playing varsity, and it's not out of necessity. They're that good. So can they mature? Can they understand the game? Like for our 2 freshman kids, can the speed of the game, can they adjust in time? When you figure we start with Pioneer, who we're 1-1 with over the last 2 years. Coach Perry does a great job. Then we get Kings Academy, who's a playoff team. And then Coach Sullivan brings Mitty here, which is a West Catholic team. So our schedule's not easy. And then when you look at Christopher, who's going to be phenomenal this year, and Live Oak, Coach Gmo does a great job. Our schedule is going to be tough. And then it's probably going to come down to that last game again. And, Blossom Hill, Oak Grove, I'll say it since I don't want to be disrespectful. They're our rival. Coach Joe down there is going to have them boys playing. They're ready to go. They're going to be a lot better than last year. So our schedule, there's no easy win. There's no gimme. It's just going to be how do our guys adapt and buy into to what we're trying to preach.
And finally, Coach, appreciate your time doing this, but I'm sure with all the accolades and the success that you've had in the past, there's some people that made a difference in your life. And you could go way back from your high school days. Who are the people that you want to thank as far as your journey?
First and foremost, my mom. She's been so supportive, super supportive always throughout my career. One thing about it, and this is what I try and tell these kids, I hated practice. I was coach's nightmare probably. My mom never once went and talked to a coach. Not one time, no matter what I was complaining about. She's like, you signed up, you deal with it. So my mom, my grandfather was like a father to me. I appreciate him. And then I got to give 3 guys the most credit. Coach Cornett, at Piedmont, my high school coach. Coach Freeborg, who was my basketball high school coach, who really meant a lot to me. He passed away, may he rest in peace. Coach Hancock from West Valley really took me under his wing. When I was falling off the edge, he took me to get a milkshake every time he felt me veering. And I said 3, but I got to give one more to Coach Arbette with the SaberCats because he showed me how to become a pro and how to be a man in the game of, and not just playing the game of football, but the life of football. So those 4 people, as far as my coaches, I really want to thank them.
And there's one more question, Coach.
Okay.
If you were to go back to your, let's just say, college self or senior self in high school, what would be your advice?
To myself?
To yourself.
Oh, that's easy. Get the books. Every team I've been on, I've been a team captain because of my ability. But my advice to myself would be a better person to your teammates. I hated practice, and they knew it, and they knew, I could show up when I wanted to and just turn it on. So for me, it would be a better person to your teammates. Be a better person to your coaching staff, not just because of my talent, but really I'd say work harder. Make sure I worked harder and stayed focused, be the first one in the gym and the last one out of the gym. I was always the last one in and the first one out. And, it played out for me, but had I been doing it a little bit different, things might have been a little bit different for me.
Man, I love how you're honest. There's got to be the way you teach. It's fun. I was watching you out there, and you don't sugarcoat things.
Nope. Well, no, that's just, like I said, I'm from the 70s, and if you ask any of my coaches to quote one person about me, Coach Terry Malley said in all the years he's been coaching, I'm the only player that he knows that can turn it on game day and just go without practice. And if you ask all my coaches what one quote from somebody would you give, it'd probably be Allen Iverson. Practice? We talking about practice? And that's why I'm so hard on the guys now, because I don't want them going the route I went. And I tell administration, staff, media, I don't sugarcoat. I tell it like it is, because I think when you do that, you're doing the kids a disservice.
I love that, Coach. Well, thank you for your time, and good luck.
Appreciate it. Thank you for supporting us, and hopefully you come get some more, some wins with us. Appreciate it.
Awesome, man. That was awesome.
Oh, appreciate you.
Get Sports Focus is brought to you by Summit Partners, leaders in growth equity investing. Ike's Love and Sandwiches, championship level sandwiches every single time. Weightsandbars.com. Build your home gym and shop locally from the Bay Area's best fitness equipment experts. And by South Bay Construction, a reputation built on trust.
All right, we are back, GSF Weekly. I'd like to say week number 0, because this week is when everybody's doing their scrimmage. But if you could, if the background right here, you've seen this before if you've been watching GSF Weekly. Over the summer, and it was a long summer, by the way, Coach Andrew, Ethan Castle, and Coach Romero, who is now with the Bellarmine Bells, he's a running back coach there, and myself, we decided to put together I believe this is the 10th annual GSF All-Star Draft. Yes, it's been 10 years, people. I can still remember the very, very first pick. It was Jake Browning of Folsom. The thing is, our website crashed right around COVID time. It got hacked by some Korean site.
Oh, man.
And so everything was deleted, but I do have records of it. And it would be cool to kind of publish the last 10 years and all the stars and kind of figure out like who's still playing, right? I know Najee's still playing. Colin Johnson's still playing. There's a bunch of them that are now in the pros. Anyways, so Coach Andrew was the 4th pick because this is his first year of doing this. And I was the first overall pick. Ta-da! And I'd like to do this as an official announcement. Coach? Yeah? You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. No, but before we do this, let us explain to you guys what this is all about. The GSF All-Star Draft is not a game. It is a way for us to recognize the guys who really deserve to be recognized. But there's some constraints. Is that right?
Yeah, we had some rules and guidelines.
Yes. So all these players were seen by at least the individual picking that player, which means all the teams that Ethan saw last year are the only teams that he can pick from. And all the teams that I saw are the only teams that I can pick from. And same with Coach Andrew and Coach Romero. That's one. Number 2, it's a fantasy draft. And what we're trying to do is we have 4 teams. There's the GSF 5-star. That's my team. There's Team Ethan, the top dogs. Heroes is Coach Romero. And Exios is Coach Andrew. We we put ourselves in the situation where we're going to put together an all-star high school team, right? And the way we're going to do it is we're going to have draft priorities. So this is kind of like being a general manager. You're going to start from scratch and you're going to build a team. Now, what kind of team are you trying to build? That's the key. My team, I was going for just ballers this year. I'm just going for guys that are playmakers, which means I'm going to need that one playmaker or more that can get the job done. And I need a very, very athletic line. So when you see my list, you'll understand why. Coach Andrew, what kind of a team were you trying to build?
So I was building, like I wanted a really strong, trench system. You live and die by the line. So, I spent a lot of, like I said, I spent a lot of my picks. Actually, I would say like the first, all my first picks, I think I did all line because that's my base. If I don't have a strong line, I can't do anything. I'll find the athletes. I know where the athletes are, but those athletes can't do anything if I don't have a line. If I can't protect, then it doesn't matter what playmaker I have on the outside. If I can't pass rush, we can't make plays. So I spent more of my time like looking at, what I deemed as the best lineman all the way across.
I think we all did that.
Yeah.
Would you explain why certain players that are considered the best players were not picked right away? Because if you know football, you know how important the line is very, very important. And so this is kind of like as close to the NFL draft as we can get. I know I've talked about this in the past, but at the end of the season, when all the awards come out, it seems like the same exact guys are getting the same exact recognition. And it seems like there's the first team, the second team, the third team, the fourth team, the sixth team, it's like everybody gets an award, but ours is unique. Okay. Very unique because it's basically like the real thing. I want to see you on the field. And what's cool this past year is that we actually had an all-star game. Obviously, the all-star game that we ended up hosting didn't really include all the superstars, okay? But they were all seniors, and a lot of them are on this list. So I got the first pick, and with the first pick of the 2022 GSF All-Star Draft, Team GSF 5-star select